articles voted on through BOS by Tuesday. And Barry told me that he's writing up doing the write-ups over this weekend on capital budget items. So
that'll be great. If
Monday
he's
morning.
not the last one, that will help a lot, because that's a big chunk.
Unusual. Yeah.
Well, it's not always Barry's fault. It's often a matter of the departments won't give them the final number, or they can't. One year they couldn't get a quorum for their penultimate meeting.
Right. So we have a quorum. Speaking of quorums, why don't we just get going so we can maximize the amount of time we've got available? Does that work? Any objections if I just kick off the meeting now?
No.
Hearing none, I'll do it. Robin won't be joining us tonight. She's exhausted. You might have noticed on Monday night she flaked at about when we got to the citizens' warrants and had to leave. So I understand that she was just flown back that day from England or Europe. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This public meeting of the Dover Warrant Committee is being conducted remotely via Zoom in accordance with the temporary provisions of the Open Meeting Law. The meeting has been publicly posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded, so take caution with what you show on the screen, as others may be able to see it. Anything you broadcast may be captured by that recording. To open the meeting, I'd like to get a roll call of those attending. Woody Wise.
Present.
Peter Smith.
Present.
Marty Howard.
Present.
Janet McCormick.
Present.
Jerry Chen.
Present.
Melissa Herman.
Present.
Thanks, Melissa. Okay, I declare the meeting open. And this evening, it's really going to be devoted to getting through voting on the warrant articles that we have numbers for, and for those that don't have financial implications, trying to get through all of those. And then assigning the write-ups that everyone will have to do on individual warrant articles. That really mostly only applies to the non-financial articles, right, Peter?
No, there are some that have.
In any case,
that have dollar amounts.
Peter knows it all, and so I'm going to basically throw it over to Peter to guide us through this process and trying to get it done as smoothly and as quickly as we can. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, well, why don't we start with Article 4, and I will read over.
To post that up, Woody, or what do you think? We just read over the items and not show them on the screen?
I can share my screen.
That would be good. Mm-hmm. Just so we've got a reference point.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay, can you see that?
Not yet. Now something is happening. Yes, okay. We can see it now.
Okay, I had to double click. One never knows.
Right.
All right.
The wonders of technology.
So, Article 4, the operating budget. Please say hold if you would like to stop and discuss any of these items. Otherwise, hearing none, if we get to the end, we will take a vote on the grand total. So, excellent. General government, 122, selectmen, $981,434. 129, copy and postage, $29,900. 131, warrant committee, $9,300. Reserve fund, $250,000. 135, town accountant, $298,046. 141, assessors, $227,668. 145, treasurer collector, $322,899. 151, law, $220,000. 155, data processing, $242,640. 161, town clerk, $109,389. 162, elections and registration, $83,654. 171, Conservation Commission, $173,343. 175, Planning, $240,268. 176, Board of Appeals, $4,563. 191, Whiting Road, $7,000. 192, townhouse expenses, $64,582. 193, Dover Community Center, $153,327. 195, town report, $6,125. 199, building maintenance, $474,094. Total general government, $3,898,232. Protection of persons and property, 210, police, $2,651,536. 220, fire, $662,217. 231, ambulance, $396,181. 241, building inspector, $245,062. 291, emergency management, 0. 292, animal control, $25,672. 294, care of trees, 0. 295, tree committee, 0. 299, protective agencies building, $82,700. Total protections of persons and property, $4,063,368. Education, 300, Dover School, $11,425,463. 301, Dover's share of the regional assessment, $13,268,125. 302, Minuteman Vocational, $269,420. 304, other vocational schools, $25,000. Total education, $24,988,008. Public Works and Facilities, 411, engineering, 0. 422, DPW highway maintenance, $1,356,269. 423, snow and ice, $384,000. 424, street lighting, $8,899. 425, town garage, $72,916. 428, tarvia and patching, $330,000. 433, garbage disposal, 0. 439, solid waste, $416,951. 450, town water, $47,092. 491, cemetery, $143,059. Total public works and facilities, $2,759,186. Health and Human Services, 510 Board of Health, $279,292. 541 Council on Aging, $280,972. 543 Veterans, $2,000. Total Health and Human Services, $562,264. Culture and Recreation, 610 Library, $941,505. 650 Parks and Recreation, $565,394. 691 Historical Commission, $1,250. 692 Memorial Day, $4,500. Total Culture and Recreation, $1,512,649. Debt Service, 710 and 751 Maturing Debt Principal and Interest, $2,519,223. 759 Bank Charges, 0. Total Debt Service, $2,519,223. Unclassified Services under Insurance, 912 Workers' Compensation, $128,026. 914 Group Insurance, $3,127,200. 916 Medicare and FICA, $203,000. 950 Other Insurance, $291,549. Total insurance, $3,749,776. Pensions, 911 Norfolk County Retirement, $1,798,810. Total unclassified, $5,548,586. Grand total all budgets, $45,851,516. I heard no holds. Hearing none, I move that Article 4, totaling $45,851,516 be approved.
And now, are we going to adopt a sort of standard mover and seconder for
Yes.
this, Peter?
Yes.
So, Woody, could I ask you to act as a seconder if your conscience allows you for these, just so we can speed the whole process up and don't have to keep asking people?
Sure. Second.
Then we put that motion to the vote. Woody Weiss,
Affirmative.
Peter Smith,
Yay.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman.
Yes. I have a question. Did we have to ask if there's any discussion, or because there were no holds, is there no discussion?
There being no holds, I did not ask for discussion.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Jerry?
Yes.
And Cam Hudson, yes, as well. So the motion is passed unanimously.
All right, well done. Let's move on to Article 5, Capital Budget. The first item, Police Patrol Vehicles, $130,000. I move that the sum of $130,000 for police patrol vehicles be approved. Or any discussion first? Hearing none, I move that the sum of $130,000 for police vehicles be approved.
Second.
And we'll have the roll call vote. Woody,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson, yes. I declare the motion passed unanimously.
Okay, let's move on. The next request is for $146,252 for self-contained breathing apparatus for the fire department. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that $146,252 be approved for the fire department self-contained breathing apparatus equipment.
Second.
I will call a vote. Woody West,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman. You're on mute, Melissa.
Yeah.
Jerry Chen
Yes.
and Cam Hudson, yes. Again, the motion is passed unanimously.
Good. The next item, again for the fire department, is $29,909 for turnout gear. Turnout gear is what they wear while firefighting. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the sum of $29,909 for fire department turnout gear be approved.
Second.
I'll take a vote. Woody West,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yeah.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson, yes too. The motion is passed unanimously.
Okay. Next item, also under fire, station wear. These are the uniforms they wear around the fire station and for informal non-fire, non-fire calls. The amount requested is $12,075. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that $12,075 for fire department station wear be approved.
Second.
I'll proceed to a roll call vote. Woody West,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson, yes too. Unanimously approved.
Okay. Highway department is next. We don't have a figure yet for the dump truck, so we will omit that. The next request is for a culvert replacement, $195,000. Any discussion? Hearing none. I move that $195,000 be appropriated for highway department culvert replacements. Woody, you're muted.
Second.
I'll proceed to a roll call vote. Woody West,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yeah.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson. Boy, this is becoming monotonous and unanimously approved.
Okay. The next one for the highway department is a front end loader with plow. Excuse me, for $355,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee approve the request for $355,000 for the front end loader with plow.
Second.
Move to roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson, yes. Unanimously approved.
The next item is the salt shed at the Highway Department garage. They're asking for $462,300. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee approve the request of $462,300 for the salt shed at the Highway Department.
Second.
I'll move to a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson, aye. Unanimously approved.
Okay, we don't have a number for, or actually, I think the stormwater is going to be covered by grants. So
Yes, I believe
we do
so.
not need to approve that. We can move on to selectmen and facilities. The first request is for the protective agencies building, repairs and replacement to the HVAC system, and also fixing up the locker room. Requested amount is $20,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee approve the request of $20,000 for the protective agencies building, HVAC, and locker room.
Second.
I'll move to roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman, sorry,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, too. Unanimously approved.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next item. Also at the protective agencies building, they are asking for $16,000 for new fuel tanks. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee approve the request by for the protective agencies building fuel tanks of $16,000.
Second.
And I'll have a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes. Unanimously approved.
Good. Next, the Whiting Road building. They want to make some upgrades to allow it to be used for community center storage. They are asking for $80,000. Any discussion?
Quick question, Kim. So all these numbers, these are the ones that they have come to us and presented before, right?
Correct, yes.
And so there are no changes from what we have been presented with.
There could have been changes, but they're downwards, not upwards.
Okay. Okay, just checking.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hearing none, I move that the warrant committee approve $80,000 for upgrades to the Whiting Road building.
Second.
Roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes. Unanimously approved.
Good. Next, we have the library HVAC replacement. They are asking for $395,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee approve $395,000 for a library HVAC replacement.
Second.
And a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson. Yes, unanimously approved.
Okay. We do not have numbers yet for the playground and pickleball replacement, and it's my understanding that those two items are going to get made into separate requests at town meeting, so that one doesn't drag the other one down, perhaps.
Yeah, that's my understanding too, Peter.
Okay, and the final item in Article 5 is $140,000 for flooring replacement of the Chickering School. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee approve $140,000 for flooring at the Chickering School.
Second.
And a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson. Yes, too, unanimously approved.
Wow. Okay.
We got through that quickly.
Yeah,
That's great.
I do miss Gordon though sometimes.
And Sarah's not here, so she's our Gordon substitute is quiet tonight.
So, okay, we've got those down. Then we've got all the other articles, some of which should be non-controversial and some of which we may need to discuss. Just let me catch up a little bit here. Where is the warrant? No, that's minutes. There we go. There's the warrant. So why don't we just start at the top and see how far we get before we need to discuss. Article 1 is pretty much boilerplate. It's used every year to forego the reading of the entire town report, which would probably take several days. Let's find that. There we go. So I move that the warrant committee approve Article 1.
Second.
Roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson. Yes, too, unanimously approved.
Need for a write-up on that. Article 2, salaries of elected officials. I've got that somewhere. Give me a moment. Nope.
Elected official salary,
Can you?
it's up above line. No, I can't see, there's no line on it.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so we need last year's.
Oh, that's not helpful.
No, that's not what I wanted. I want, there we go. Last year's Blue Book. Oh, no, it's in a separate table. Okay. Got enough windows open here. Okay, so the only thing that changed was town clerk. All right. So, establish salaries of elected officials. I move that the following salaries be approved. Board of Selectmen, Chairman, $200. Board of
Princely
Select,
sum.
yes. Board of Selectmen the Board of Selectmen clerk, $150. Board of Selectmen other member, $100. Board of Assessors chairman, $400. Other members, $350 each. Town clerk, $98,154 is going to be the new amount.
Okay.
Planning board chair, 100. Other members, 50. Constables, 150. Board of Health chair, 150. Other members, $100. Any discussion?
Peter, those items will each beside them. We're actually committing to 3 times the 150 for constables, for example, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay. There being no other discussion, I move that the amounts I just read over for Article 2 be approved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Good. Okay. Close that, close that. Next article is Article 3. This is to
Peter,
author, yes?
sorry to interrupt, but I did see Parks and Rec was called Perk. It's called Perk. What's this? Perk and deep hole inspection. What's that?
That's septic. Perk is the percolation test that gets done on your soil, and I can
Okay.
tell you they dig 2 very big holes in your front lawn or your back
Okay.
lawn. Deep hole inspection, they dig all the way down through all the fill and other tree stumps and everything else that is found on a typical property until they get down to virgin soil.
Okay.
And then they look into the hole.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what perk
Okay.
and deep hole inspection is.
Okay. Thank you.
So we have the following amounts. These are the authorized rotating balances in the revolving funds. In the building department, the gas inspector, $12,350. Plumbing inspector, $22,050. Wiring inspector, $38,500. Board of Health,
34,500.
34,500. Thank you. I'm starting to blur out already. Board of Health, perk and deep hole inspection and permitting, $40,000. Septic inspection and permitting, $50,000. Well inspection and permitting, $20,000. Swimming pool inspection and permitting, $10,000. The library, materials replacement, $5,000. Council on Aging, Senior Activities and Transportation, $40,000. Recycling Committee, Material Sales and Proceeds, $4,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the Warrant Committee approve the amounts just read over for Article 3.
Second.
We'll have a roll call vote. Woody Wise,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes?
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Very good. We have already
Done that.
approved 4 and 5.
Yep.
Next is Article 6. To appropriate for the Unemployment and Conservation Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of money for the purposes of funding an unemployment compensation fund as authorized by Chapter 40, Section E of the Massachusetts General Laws. Determine whether the money shall be included in the tax levy, transferred from available funds, or provided by any combination of these methods, and to take any other action thereto. The sum being requested this year is $25,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the Warrant Committee approve $25,000 to be appropriated for the Unemployment and Compensation Fund.
Second.
And we'll have a roll call vote. Woody Wise,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes?
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
and Jerry Chen.
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Very good. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of money to provide for the payment of accumulated sick leave to retired officers as authorized by Chapter 375 of the Acts of 1984, and to determine whether the money shall be included in the tax levy, transferred from available funds, or provided by any combination of these methods, or to take any other action relative thereto. The amount being requested this year is $10,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the Warrant Committee approve $10,000 to be appropriated for sick leave for retiring police officers.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody
Aye.
Wise,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Okay. Article 8 does not have an appropriation associated with it. This simply authorizes the town to accept Chapter 90's state money for highway work.
That's not a hard one to swallow.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the Warrant Committee approve the appropriation of state funds for road construction improvements.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Wise,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Okay. Conservation Fund, Article 9. See if the Sun will raise and appropriate a sum of money for the Conservation Fund to be used by the Conservation Commission for any purpose authorized by Chapter 40, Section 8C. Pardon me. And so forth. $25,000 is being requested this year. Any discussion?
Peter, this is not money that's associated with the article of property transfer, correct?
No, this is just this is their
And
we add money every year to their funds so that they've got if something comes up during the course of a fiscal year, they have got a fund that they can use.
Right.
So this isn't an operating budget. This is adding to their fund.
No,
Although I
they just
suppose
can't
it
use
may,
that willy-nilly, right? There is an approval process for spending money
yes,
against that,
and
right?
I suspect that this money will be used. I think they said that each of the 9 properties that they are hoping to transfer from the town, there's a $155,000 recording fee at the Registry of Deeds for each one. So I imagine this fund would be used to pay for that.
155,000 or
150.
1,555.
$150 per. So,
Yeah.
everything else is so big. How could anything be that small? So, all right, hearing no further discussion, I move that the warrant committee approve $25,000 to be appropriated for the conservation fund.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Yes?
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman. No, you went to mute, Melissa.
Sorry, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, aye, unanimously approved.
Okay. Article 10 is the annual appropriation into the general stabilization fund to see if the town will raise and appropriate a sum of money for the general stabilization fund in accordance with Chapter 40, Section 5B MGL. This has become an annual transfer from free cash into the stabilization fund, our savings account. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that $197,000 be appropriate, that the warrant committee approve or recommend the appropriation of $197,000 into the general stabilization fund.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes?
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Okay. Next, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of money to the Dover-Sherburne Regional Schools Stabilization Fund in accordance with Chapter 40, Section 5B of the Massachusetts General Laws. This year, we are asking for $743,000. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee recommend the appropriation of $743,000 to the regional schools OPEB fund. You're muted, Woody.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman, Melissa, I didn't hear anything.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay. Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Good. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of money to pay any unpaid bills rendered to the town for prior years. They have $10,000 in here now. I believe that's just a placeholder amount. I have not seen an itemization of unpaid bills, and it's usually a very not round number since it refers to specific invoices. I see no harm in approving this for now, and hopefully we will get a precise number soon. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee recommend the appropriation of $10,000 for the unpaid bills of prior years.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman. Are you there, Melissa?
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
Okay. So far, we have no supplemental appropriations, so we can skip that. Next item. To establish and authorize a revolving fund for the Department of Public Works. Okay, this would be added into our various list of revolving funds. And there's an annotation on this. Okay, this is not the final wording of the warrant article, but I think we don't worry so much about that. And the ceiling for the revolving fund right now is set at $35,000, which is in line with other revolving funds. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee recommend the establishment and authorization of a revolving fund for the Department of Public Works with an amount of $35,000.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
and Steve Migalski. You're on mute, Steve.
Yes.
And Cam Hudson, yes. The vote is unanimously approved, 800.
And we will need somebody to do a write-up for this.
Okay, now, how will we approach the write-ups? Will we do them as we come across them, assign them as we come across them, or
Why not?
shall we? Okay. Is anybody volunteering to do the write-up for the supplemental, sorry, for the revolving fund for DPW? Who is the liaison to DPW this year? Is it me? I think it might be. Okay, I'll take that on.
Hey, Cam, can I ask a question?
Yes, Marty,
When you say
absolutely.
Write it up. What does that mean? What are you
So
trying to get?
if you look in the blue book, you'll see that the warrant articles all have a description of what it's about that goes into the blue book, and we have to write those up every year.
Okay.
And so there's probably we probably each have about 2 of these write-ups, and so we sort of run with it that way. That we all take a couple and try and write this one paragraph on what it's all about. And then we will approve those at a future meeting, hopefully next Monday or Wednesday.
And does that go in the blue book then, whatever you write
That
up?
goes into the blue book, exactly.
Yeah, in the blue book, for each article, we have the legal language, which is what I've got up on the screen right now from the warrant. That's then followed by an explanatory paragraph or 2 by the warrant committee that gives some color to what this article means. And then after that, we have the warrant committee recommendation.
Okay.
Yes, the yes or no.
Okay.
And clearly, if you're struggling with coming up with it, others can certainly help.
Yeah.
So then you can reach out to somebody else to see if it makes sense.
Yeah, and I guess if you've been the liaison to a particular place, it probably makes sense for you to be the one to write it up.
That's what I was thinking, that
Yeah.
that would be the best way to do it. I think I am the liaison for DPW. I'm remiss in not having looked that up.
And then we're about to come up to 2 on the planning board that had been talked about a lot. I'm the liaison there, so I would probably write those up. But I guess the question I have, those slides that Carol Lisbon and her associate used on those two, are those available somewhere? Because those I think would be helpful in terms of,
They're all in the shared drive.
okay, all right, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Article 15 establishes a revolving fund for the community center. The amount being recommended is $25,000. Any discussion? And again, that's the ceiling for the revolving fund, not an appropriation.
Right.
Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee recommend the establishment and authorization of a revolving fund for the community center.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes,
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
yes,
Steve Migalski.
Yes, but can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, so how does this differ from costs associated with operating the community center after hours and maintenance improvement projects? Is it basically a rainy day fund for the community center, or why wouldn't that just be included in the budget?
Well, this is
The
a
regular
revolving fund which is set up so that if they have activities for which they charge a fee, if there's no revolving fund, like say the copier at the library, all the dimes that go into the copier don't get retained by the library. They go into the town's
Right.
general fund. Whereas if you've got a revolving fund, the fees you collect stay in-house and can be used for directly to pay for the activity involved. Park and Rec is obviously operates almost completely on this. And presumably the community center, they will have some activities for which there are fees, and then they can use the fees collected and just roll along over the course of the year.
Got it. Thanks, Pat. I'm in favor.
And Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
This one's mine to write up.
I believe so. Thank you, Woody.
Okay. This next one is to rescind the borrowing authors. Okay, to see if the town will vote to rescind $250,000 of the borrowing authorization under Article 12 of the May 5 and 6, 1997 annual town meeting. Said funding originally appropriated for a grant agreement between the town and the Dover Community Development Corporation for the development of elderly housing no longer needed as the project was not completed, and the Dover Community Development Corporation, in fact, no longer exists, is by my understanding. So I think this is just a housekeeping measure to remove this authorization from the books, lest somebody use it for some slush fund. Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee recommend the rescinding of the borrowing authorizations mentioned here.
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Aye.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
yes,
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
yes,
Steve Migalski,
Yes.
and Cam Hudson. Unanimously approved.
Okay, who wants this one? I'll take it.
Okay.
All right. Now we're down to the housing study. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate a sum of money for the purposes of funding specific projects not expected to reoccur as specified in the motion, and a list of which is available at the town clerk's office. And I think the only item in this, at least so far this year, is for the housing study, and they're asking for $100,000 for a consultant. Discussion?
Correct. Correct.
I thought it was 50 to 100 undetermined yet, right?
That's what they said Monday night. I guess they're
Yeah.
asking for they're asking for the higher number, hoping to get it done with a lower number.
Got it.
Okay.
And they would
Further
have to come back in
discussion?
future years for additional sums or additional projects.
Yeah, they'd have to come back.
This is a one-time project. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one-time project. One-time project seems like a,
Well, I think that article is always in the
Got it.
in the warrant, and this year we only have one project.
We follow tradition.
Okay, hearing no further discussion, I move that the warrant committee recommend the appropriation for one-time project being the housing study.
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Steve Migalski,
yes.
and Cam Hudson. Yes, unanimously approved.
I can
And,
do that.
and I'll take right on.
Do you want to do it to camera? I can do it.
It's okay. Okay, I can do it. Woody, no problem.
All right.
We'll have more. We don't need to fight for it. If you,
I was gonna say, can you guys fight over what I have to do?
Okay, where are we? We are up to 18. Amend the general bylaws to adopt a construction hours bylaw. Ably described to us twice now by Carol Lisbon.
Yes.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee recommend the adoption of the bylaw for construction hours.
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Steve Migalski,
Yes.
Cam Hudson. Yes, unanimously approved. And this one looks like it's got your name written on it, Marty.
That's right.
Okay, next. Where are we? We're at 19. Amend zoning bylaws, small and medium scale solar installations. Again, ably explained the other night. No appropriation involved. Any discussion? Hearing none. I move that the warrant committee recommend the adoption of a bylaw for small and medium solar arrays.
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Steve Migalski,
Yes.
Cam Hudson. Yes, unanimously approved. And that looks like you too, Marty. Is that okay?
Yes. Yes.
Got two MHs.
You're
here.
thinking on your feet, Peter. I can see that.
No. Okay. Next, we've got 20. Amend the general bylaws for stormwater bylaw. Excuse me. Again, no appropriation involved. Any discussion?
We haven't seen a draft of this. It's each time Kevin's presented, he said it's at the town council, but we haven't actually seen what the bylaw is.
That's true. Do we want to wait on this and see if we can see the final language?
I'm happy waiting, but he did say Monday night that it was going to be 2 or 3 weeks.
Then I guess we should yay or nay tonight.
Yeah,
And
pending visibility of the end.
Well, can we at least,
of the
we haven't
bylaw.
even seen a draft. We haven't seen the draft that the town council is working on. Feels like we should at least see that before we vote on it.
makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I'm happy to reach out to Kevin and ask him to send us the draft or.
yep, thank you. And who will do the write-up on this? Any offers?
I'll take it.
Thank you.
Steve's
We're
gonna do it.
guilty. This is a guilt trip now. Thanks,
Okay.
Steve.
All righty. Article 21 would authorize the Board of Assessors to enter into contracts exceeding 3 years, which apparently they are currently limited to. This would allow them to enter into contracts for upwards to not exceeding 6 years. Any discussion?
Just,
We know
I
why.
actually don't remember. Yeah, actually, I don't remember hearing this one before, so I was just curious. Is this just to extend the assessor's time?
No, it's actually relating to apparently there's a limit of contracts that can be undertaken by default of 3 years, and so they've got a contract where they can get further savings by taking it to 5 years, and they need to get approval for doing that, and so that's essentially what this is. We did have a presentation on that at one point.
I think I missed that one. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, there being no further discussion, I move that the warrant committee recommend that the assessors be authorized to enter into contracts exceeding 3 years, not to exceed 6 years.
Second,
We'll have a roll call vote. Woody Wise,
yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes,
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Steve Migalski,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved. I'll do the write-up.
okay. Article 22. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to transfer the real property. There will be a handout presumably showing that, we saw that last night or Monday, which land is currently held for general municipal purposes from the current custodian to the Board of Selectmen for the purposes of conveyance, and to authorize the Board of Selectmen to convey such land to the Conservation Commission for conservation purposes and the protection of town property on such terms and conditions and for such consideration which may be non-monetary, As discussed previously, this is putting control of land which is basically in conservation, consolidating it all in one place under the auspices of the Conservation Commission. Any discussion?
So Peter, actually the write-up is not final. I think they're still trying to vote on it. However, it's the general concept is exactly the same.
Yeah, I think they're wordsmithing it, but it seems straightforward, although nothing having to do with
Yeah.
real estate law really is straightforward.
Right.
But I'm comfortable not seeing the final language.
Okay.
And if we're all comfortable not seeing the final language, I will move that the warrant committee recommend the transfer of town-owned land to the Conservation Commission.
Second,
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody Wise,
yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Steve Bukowski,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved.
And I'll do the write-up for that.
Thank you, Janet.
Okay, Article 23. To accept Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 164, Section 134, load aggregation programs. To see if the town will initiate the process to aggregate electrical load pursuant to Massachusetts Law 164, Section 134, and grant the Board of Selectmen authority to research, develop, and participate in a contract or contracts to aggregate the electricity load of the residents and businesses of the town and for other services independently or in joint action with other municipalities, retaining the right of individual residents and businesses to opt out of the aggregation. I missed that meeting.
So it's actually intended to see if we can find an electricity provider that will sell us electricity cheaper than the default providers, Eversource or whatever else. And the idea is to make that available to residents as well, so they could get a better rate for their electricity than they could get from the standard providers. And I think that's a great idea.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I move that the warrant committee recommend that the town accept Massachusetts General Law 164, Section 134, electrical load aggregation.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Woody West,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Aye.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Aye.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Steve Bukowski,
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes, unanimously approved. Does anybody feel like writing that up? And I'm sure that if you reach out to Carl Valente, he will explain exactly what it's all about, so that you could, it's probably only a couple of sentences of writing for that. Any volunteers?
They got our order very fast.
I beg your pardon, Melissa, I didn't quite hear that.
Yep. I'll take it if someone didn't just jump in.
And nobody was, everybody else was stepping
Okay.
back, I think.
Okay, I'll reach out to Carl and take care of that one.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
Yep.
Okay. Now for the fun stuff. Article 24. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of money to construct a sidewalk on Cross Street from the intersection of Cross Street and Center Street to Chickering Elementary School. We have not yet gotten a dollar amount on this, although on Monday, the number that was tossed out and disputed and supported was about $15,000 for engineering and somewhere between $19,000 and $22,000 for construction.
So in terms of discussion, I certainly have a point of view on this, but I don't know whether we do that after we've posed the motion or.
No, let's discuss.
Right. Well, has anybody else got an opinion on this? Because being the chair, I don't want to have any inordinate influence on this. So I would be happy if somebody else had some comments.
I feel the same as I did last year.
Exactly.
That this
Yes,
is
me too.
this is a private business asking the town to help him expand his business.
I agree.
And I am dead set against this.
Mm-hmm. Any other
Yep,
comments?
and
Janet, you too?
and the right, so the cost estimate is to me feels very suspect, but also there's no maintenance conversation. Once it becomes a town, once it becomes a sidewalk, we're going to be responsible for all that. And given the budget that we're fighting against for things, I'm worried about what this will mean if it does pass. And then also, we voted down sidewalk multiple times in other places. If this goes in without any kind of overwhelming rationale that everybody in town can get behind, we could have everybody asking the sidewalk on their streets. And is that what we want to do? So I do have a huge reservation about this, and I almost want to ask, like, shouldn't we have some sort of rule that says you can't just petition without getting X number of signatures from other town folks or something, that so we don't end up wasting time every year going over the same topic that town is not behind.
Well, he has to get the 10 signatures, right?
To get it on the ballot,
10,
Yeah,
to
really?
get it in the warrant.
yeah,
Mm.
but only 10.
And I would
Any
love
other
to have seen those 10 people at the meeting supporting the article.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, to me, if you want to put a citizen's petition on, power to you. But it's your job to kind of come up with and research it and provide the details. And we kind of have a guesstimate of cost, and the design is a kind of a cheap PowerPoint presentation that he drew some lines on a page, and there's it's 40 feet in the street, but he hasn't surveyed anything, so we don't really know what we're getting into if you approved it. It could be he could get it for budget, or it could be $100,000 over budget. I don't think it's not a well thought out plan. Other than this, so I don't know how we
Right.
could.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly with all of the comments I've heard. I also don't think that in all good conscience that we can possibly approve the installation of a sidewalk without having a very clear definition of all the costs associated with it. And without that, I think I'm certainly going to vote against it.
Yeah, I
The
think
benefits.
also,
Sorry.
I think also, Cam, I heard from the two abutters on Monday, maybe I was misinterpreting it, that it's uncertain who actually owns the land that he's proposing to put the sidewalk over. That seems to be a fundamental issue that should get resolved before you even start getting estimates.
Yes, there's so many unknowns about this that it just makes it really difficult to approve. My suggestion to him was that if he came up with a warrant article to do a design to establish all the costs and everything that would have to be done to make it happen, that could be voted on. But without something like that, there is no way that we can do it. We don't allow town departments to do this without three vendors doing an evaluation, and without the DPW approval. So I don't see why this should be an exception to that. So I am quite opposed to it. Is there anybody else got an opinion that's different from this? If they have, let's discuss it. If not, I suggest we just put it to a vote. Hearing none.
Okay, Brian.
Okay, I move then that the warrant committee recommend the installation of a sidewalk on Cross Street.
Woody, you're on mute.
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote. Woody?
No.
Peter Smith?
No.
Marty Howard?
No,
Janet McCormick?
No.
Melissa Herman?
No.
Jerry Chen?
No.
Steve Migalski?
No.
Cam Hudson? No. Unanimously disapproved. And who is the liaison for this?
I think it was me.
Okay, Steve, would you mind writing it up?
I'm
Sorry.
happy to write it up.
Okay. And Article 25, to see if the town will vote to amend the Chapter 83 of the general bylaws of the town of Dover by adding a new section as set forth below and further. We have not seen below and further yet. That non-substantive changes in the numbering of the bylaw be permitted, and to take any action there too. Article 2, dogs, section 83-3, restraint required. No dog shall be allowed in any public place or street within the boundaries of Dover unless it is effectively restrained by a leash of no more than 7 feet. Exceptions to this would be if it is contained within a motor vehicle. I note that there is no mention of the Norfolk Hunt Club hounds.
What Pope told me was that since this version has been approved by town council, he can't modify it. But he's going to propose an amendment at town meeting.
Fine. All right, discussion.
Who wants to go first? You know, I feel quite ambivalent about this. I appreciate that dog misbehavior, and particularly dogs that aren't uncontrolled, can be problematic. On the other hand, I really have I'm challenged to believe that it's quite the problem that it's been presented to be. My experience has been mostly in trustees' properties or conservation trust land, where I've experienced dogs that are out of control and not on a leash. But I have no experience of dogs in public that create problems. But we did hear from some very vocal citizens the other night that of having experiences or hearing of experiences that were quite brutal. And so I fully sympathize with those viewpoints. So I don't know. I'm still struggling a little for a position. Does anybody else have a clear feeling about this?
Yeah, I think I'm in the kind of same boat that I always have my dog on a leash just because my dog is big and scary to other people. And at the same time, I can't take my dog to a no-net woods, for example, because there are a lot of people who let their dogs loose.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very friendly, but it doesn't matter when the friendly dog comes towards my leash dog gets very scared.
Upset.
So
mm-hmm.
it's not a good situation. But the reason I'm struggling with this is that even the case where some dog jumped up and hurt town person, which is terrible, but I think having the dog on a leash probably would not have prevented that if the person was close by and talking, because 7 feet is long enough leash that a dog could have jumped up and still had the same outcome. So to me, it all comes down to whether the owner can control the dog or not. For example, like the story that I heard was that with a gun permit, for example, you have to go through training and be able to control your arms to be able to get permit. It almost seems like, is there a way where we can set such that if you can get some sort of certificate that your dog's completely trained, you can have complete control over the dog, then maybe you can be off leash. Yeah, I'm struggling with this thing because I've seen leash laws in other towns where people just don't obey. So yeah, right, I'm very conflicted on this.
Janet, I know there was the comment in comments on Monday night about how 3 of the neighboring towns have a component where the dog needs to be under voice control, but I don't know how you really certify that. So that is interesting.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. That completely undermines a leash law then.
Right. Yeah, but the reason I brought that up is, like, for example, walking in the Nornet Woods, there's some people who walk their dogs off leash, but boom, the dogs are right next to them and they call and then they're right there. And with
That's
those, I have
sometimes the
no,
case.
right.
That's sometimes the case, Janet. I've had some really bad experiences with aggressive dogs off the leash and feeling very threatened by them.
Yeah.
So it is real, but this bylaw doesn't have any impact on it.
Oh, so it doesn't affect the
It
trustee and things like that.
It does not apply
Wow.
to private property, which the trustees'
Interesting.
properties are.
Oh, interesting. So that may need to be clarified.
It was discussed
Right.
on Monday evening, and he made it quite clear that no, it didn't apply to those private properties.
Yeah, those being there, that's not public property.
Okay,
Public
then that
property
doesn't help.
really would just
That
be
doesn't help.
the street, in the street, or on the sidewalks in the middle of town would really be the
Yeah,
only where
so
this would apply.
Is it
okay.
is it acceptable for us to propose a motion that we decline to make a recommendation on this simply because we were all rather ambivalent about it and didn't really feel that we could in conscience vote either for it or against it?
We could say something to the effect of, based on the information provided to the warrant committee up until the time we went to press, we were, I hate to use words like ambivalent.
Yes, right.
Right.
I did too, and it seems so
I-
wishy-washy. We're charged with coming up with recommendations, not sitting on the fence. So that's
Right.
difficult.
I mean, we could say, warrant committee hesitates to make a recommendation that recognizes the good intent, but is unable to make a positive recommendation based on. We're all struggling here.
Yeah, right.
I think this
Can we,
law.
can we just put it up for a vote and you abstain if you, so I guess I'm not sure how effective I think it would be for the points I think other people have raised. I mean, I think people will just ignore it, but I'm not opposed to it. I probably would. I don't think it's going to be harmful either. And so I wouldn't be inclined to support it. Acknowledging it's
approach.
probably not going to take too much of a influence, but there could be some, I don't know, a few of my neighbors don't walk their dog on our street without leashing them, and then the dog roams onto my yard and goes to the bathroom or something, right? So
Right.
maybe leash would help that or something at least.
Well,
So
that to me
I
is
guess I would support it, but I think it likely would have minimum effect. And it
I
sounds
think,
like every
the
other
biggest
has one
gaping
in the area.
hole in the law bylaws as being proposed is what happens when an uncontrolled dog runs onto somebody else's private property.
Yes, it's not really related to this law.
Oh,
This
that's
is only
interesting.
public property.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So maybe we could say the warrant committee can't recommend this because we feel that it is incomplete, and that a more thorough study be done and a more comprehensive leash law be developed.
Yeah, that sounds like an approach we could get on with. Although I can also see Steve's point. I mean, it's not going to do any harm if we support it.
So what is?
just...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thinking out loud, but so what are the so if somebody doesn't do it, like, what's the enforcement in the case? Because I literally I was in a town where 3 dogs came up to me with a leash dog, and there's a huge sign that says $200 per dog for fine for not having the dogs on a leash. And when I asked the owner to leash their dogs, they just looked at me and said, "I don't carry leashes with me. My dogs are friendly." So
Yes,
yeah.
there is. I think perhaps, Peter, we should follow your lead on that, that we can't support it. We feel there are just too many inconsistencies in the bylaw as proposed, and that we recommend that further work be done on composing a law that solved for some of those inconsistencies.
Why don't I write up a recommendation and we can discuss it on Monday?
Great, that would be very helpful. Thank you, Peter.
Or would they be able to come back with better article that based on some other towns that are successfully doing it?
Well, I think our problem is we know it's really difficult to enforce this. I mean, you can have a fine for not having a dog on a leash, but you know, typically what happens is you're confronted with a dog that's not on a leash, and you're upset by it, but you can't identify who's responsible for the animal.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's throwing a load onto the police to police this, and it probably would add substantive costs to effectively enforce it.
The other reason I'd be inclined to support is it sound like I don't know, don't know how it differs, but from the way Pope described it, we're kind of one of the only towns in the area that doesn't have this at the moment. And he listed Wellesley and Natick and Needham and Westwood and basically every town around us.
I'd love to see what their laws are.
Yeah.
I don't know how they compare. I haven't done a comparison.
Yeah, but in Needham Rail Trail, my older dog got attacked by this dog, and my dog's injured, but on a leash, but the other dog wasn't, and there was no owner to be found.
Right.
So, what do you do?
Yeah, it certainly won't solve the problems of wild dogs causing problems, I think. But yeah, why don't we?
I think that's a lot of these citizens petitions. Right? We had the can't water the lawn even if you have a private well a couple of years ago, which I think everyone said and I think even Robin Hunter said at the meeting, there's no intent to enforce this law, right? And so I think a lot of these things are sort of compliant spirit, but if you don't, no one's going to do anything to you. I would think the construction bylaw might be the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, Peter's offered to come up with a recommendation, and we'll address it again on Monday.
Okay, so we're almost home. Article 26 is free cash to reduce the tax rate. And Townhouse is recommending $800,000 based on their model. I know we're going to use like $300,000. I mean, about $2.5 or $3 million of free cash against various articles, capital items. And we've got a little bit left over, which I think the 800,000 is probably based on what we expect to get back in sped circuit breaker.
Right.
Discussion? Okay, hearing none.
May I just say, I didn't ever get a clear picture from either Robin or Michael exactly how much free cash they think we'll end up with at the end of this, and apart from the amount required to keep our AAA rating, how much free cash they think we should have, because we're heading into a year next year when, just by the figures shown Monday night, our capital expenses looked like $8 million was the projection, which is about double any prior year. So if we use up free cash to the point that it's we go from 10 million to 4 million, we are going to be hampered next year in terms of dealing with our capital expenses. And I didn't think anyone actually addressed that in the presentations we had.
Well, I think the idea behind it was that this would help us avoid, at least for this year, increasing taxes to cover some of the operating costs that we have.
Well, I understand that. It's just that our financial picture this year was not great, and we're deferring a number of expenses, particularly in terms of personnel that
well, we are
necessary.
also taking quite a bit of free cash and putting it into reserve funds, which is exactly aimed to try and solve that problem. So I don't think, I mean, if we've got about 10 million in free cash, although it hasn't been yet certified, if we've got that amount, this doesn't seem an unreasonable amount to use for this purpose.
And
I
I think in over the past 5 or 6 years, replenishment of free cash has been on the order of $3.5 million in terms of circuit breaker, state grants, and unspent funds in the various accounts. It's been pretty consistent, $3 to $3.5 million coming back.
Right.
Right. And Woody, we did spend in these discussions that I had with Carl Valenti and Michael and Robin on ways to get the budget at least to a point where people aren't going to be shocked out of their minds by the tax increases that they'll be subject to. We're already talking about a tax increase, right? We thought this was a reasonable compromise for this year, while still acknowledging that we've got a more challenging future in front of us.
Well, I don't have. Okay, if there's no further discussion, I recommend that the warrant committee, or I move that the warrant committee recommend the transfer of $800,000 from free cash to stabilize the tax rate.
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote. Woody West?
Yes.
Peter Smith?
Yes.
Marty Howard?
Yes.
Janet McCormick?
Aye.
Melissa Herman?
Yeah.
Jerry Chen?
Yes.
Steve Migalski?
Yeah.
Cam Hudson, yes. Unanimously approved.
And we should get a detailed breakdown of where free cash is being used. We know some of it's being used in Article 4 and Article 5. The stabilization fund will be funded from free cash. So we should have by next week a full accounting of all the other uses of free cash, and I will circulate that.
Great. Thank you, Peter.
Wow. We made it.
Thank you so much for being so well organized and leading us through it. I
Practice
really
makes
appreciate
perfect.
that. Yes, indeed. And everybody, you might not realize, but this is basically Peter's last year, right?
Yep.
Oh, no.
So we're going to have a very big hole next year. So all those who are budding secretaries, please raise your hand or think about how we can solve that particular problem. And Melissa is also, this is her last year as well. So we're going to have some challenges, well, big shoes to fill in the very near future. Next year will be my last year, and I'm not planning to be the chair next year. So you might also think about that. we're going to have tough times.
Cam, I'm not a big hole to fill, but I'm gone after this year as well.
I'm not
Same with me.
asking you. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge next year. But anyway, that's for another time to consider. But yes, I think the other thing is, Steve, this is your last year, right? And so we've got 3 slots to fill for next year. And I would really ask you to think about the options there. And if you are aware of somebody who might be able to perform a productive function on the Warrant Committee, that you raise your hand and make suggestions to them, because I think this is going to be a very difficult situation we're going to have next year.
Cam, I think I'm also running off the role as well, because I thought Steve and I started at the same time.
According to the web page, you've got 1 more year.
1 more year, okay.
Shucks.
Darn it.
Sorry to bring humor into it, but it is a little gallows humor that's going on here. Okay, so are we now moving on to other business? We're going to do the minutes, right?
Yes, we are a bit behind on that.
We've got 3 sets of minutes to approve tonight. And I was informed that, in fact, we had this process of, if you weren't at the last meeting, you wouldn't vote. In fact, if we are just accepting the minutes, then you can still vote to accept the minutes. It doesn't necessarily mean you're aware of the contents of it. Okay, so let's go to the meeting minutes.
Okay. February 14th and March 13th. I haven't circulated the minutes from last Monday. I'll get those on next week.
You said 2:14, Peter?
Yes.
And we've got 3:13, and we also have 2:28. And that was the week you were absent, and Steve wrote up those minutes, Peter. And he distributed them today.
Did we approve 3:13? Let me look again, because I did something. You guys,
we approved 1, but we had 2 outstanding, and we've in the meantime got another 2. So.
What has? Well, let's see what is up on the town website for us. Come on, Peter. Agendas and minutes. There we go. Warrant committee. Okay, February 14th, February 28th, and March 13th are outstanding.
Yes, that's what I thought as well. So we're right on there. So shall we go sequentially? February 14th?
I move that the minutes of February 14th be accepted, I guess is the correct language.
Yep. Any corrections that people have?
Yeah, that was the regional schools.
Yeah. Hearing none, let's put it to a vote. We need a motion. Did you? Who's seconded that? You've moved. We need a seconder.
Second.
Thank you, Woody. Can we take a roll call vote on this? Woody Weiss?
Yes.
Peter Smith?
Yes.
Janet McCormick?
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
and Steve Legowski.
Yes.
Cam Hudson, yes. So unanimously approved. And now to the 3:13 minutes. I do see a correction there, if I get it right. Or was it the other one, the next one? No, it looks like it was the next one. Yes, it was the February 28th one that I had a correction for. So that's where we're at now, is the February 28th one. And in that one, Peter, you wrote Miss Nagy. I'm sure she doesn't appreciate being called Nagy. The name is actually a Hungarian name. It's Nagy, Nagy. It actually means pig in Hungarian. I actually learned Hungarian many years ago, so that's one of the phrases that I do recall.
So this is the.
So
March
it's Nagy, not double GY for 228.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
And it's in a couple of places there.
Four places.
Yeah. Okay, with those corrections, I think we can run with it. Do I hear a motion?
I move that the minutes of February 28th as edited here be approved, be accepted.
Accepted. Do I
Second.
hear a second? Thank you, Woody. Let's take a motion. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen,
Yes.
Steve Migalski,
Yep.
and Cam Hudson, yes. Okay, now we've got one more set of minutes, which was 3:13, right?
Yes.
Any suggested amendments for 3:13? Modifications? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
I move that the minutes of March 13th be accepted.
Do I hear a second? Thank you, Woody. I'll take a roll call vote. Woody Weiss,
Yes.
Peter Smith,
Yes.
Marty Howard,
Yes.
Janet McCormick,
Yes.
Melissa Herman,
Yes.
Jerry Chen.
Cam, I was absent that day.
You can accept the minutes though, just the same.
Okay, okay.
We
Yes.
didn't say you approved them. You just accepted them.
Okay.
And Steve Migalski
Approve
and
or
accept.
accept.
And Cam Hudson accept. So I unanimously approved. And wow, that's
Accepted.
the last vote of the evening, I think, except for the next one, which I think we can do by show of hands, other than Melissa, who will have to raise her voice anyway. Yeah. So do I have a motion and a seconder?
So moved.
Second.
And acclamation by hands, I think, is all we need to do. And Steve's hand is missing, so.
There we go.
Sorry.
Good night, all.
Good night, and thank you so much.
Nice.
It's been great to be able to get through so much in one night. I really thank you.
This was well done, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you Monday.